Hey everybody, it's Odd Dust and welcome back to the Mosh Pit, and I want to talk about this game that I just found out about called Thymesia. I believe I'm saying that right. It is a new Souls-like action RPG coming out from a new developer. I believe it's a new developer, Over Border Studio, published by Team 17, which I just got finished playing Blasphemous, published by Team 17. So if you want to check that out, I have a link in my profile here on YouTube if you want to check out that. But I wanted to talk about this new game, Thymesia, because I am all up in the Soulsborne action. And if this game is going to hold up to what it looks like from this trailer and also from some of the screenshots here, it looks like it's going to be a pretty dope game. If you like this video, maybe throw a like on there. If you haven't already, hit subscribe and you can see when I post new videos. All right, let's talk about Thymesia. So on the Steam page, which is, I don't know if it's coming out anywhere else, but I know for sure it's coming out on Steam. You can put it on your wish list now. It says it's coming out soon, and somewhere in some other stuff that I've read, it says this year. So hopefully that's the case. You never know with the pandemic what is going to happen with games, but it says Thymesia is a grueling action RPG with fast-paced combat and intricate plague weapon system. In a kingdom where death spreads, play as a mysterious character known by the codename Corvus, prey upon your enemies, wield the power of disease, and find the truth in your own memories. And when it says wield the power of disease, you can see from the trailer there's certain spots where you can kind of open up your arsenal and either transform your hand, turn the air into a giant scythe, or maybe throw some blades across the battlefield at your enemy, and that all looks really cool. And the dodging in this and the way that the combat, it kind of, instead of looking like a Dark Souls game, more to me looks like Sekiro, where it seems to be a decent amount of parrying, which could be a problem because I definitely am not the greatest when it comes to timing. So if you had issues like I did with Sekiro and the timing of those parries and the counters on that kind of attack, it does say that you can build up your own playstyle through different ways to build your build. So it's not specifically possible to get stuck into this is the way I have to play the game because there's only really one way to do this. There might be ways where you can do a strength build or a dexterity build and kind of change up, maybe spec more into disease and use a bunch of the special abilities that you get from bosses or something like that. Let's take a quick look here at the bottom where on the Steam page there's more of a little bit more of a description here down below. So for the story, it says a kingdom once thriving on power of alchemy enters an age of calamity. After discovering the price behind alchemy, an attempt to stop the use of it backfired. So I guess this kingdom was using alchemy, got a lot of power of it, and went, oh shit, we shouldn't be using alchemy. We're pulling from this, but it's doing this. Oh no. And they tried to stop it. Instead, it exploded into a backfired bunch of mess. And it says within a few days, the kingdom was in chaos and the streets infested with monsters. So, you're stopping it didn't do any good. Now everything's all messed up. The key to understanding all of this is in Corvus's hands, but he has lost his memory. The truth can only be found within his memories, but every time he dives back in, he only finds more secrets. So, I guess there's going to be a decent amount of lore, maybe some memory activators that you find throughout the game that pop you into a memory, and then you have to figure some shit out, but then there's even more of a mystery. I mean, Souls games are kind of like that when it comes to how they deliver story anyway. So if it's taking anything from some of those games, it's going to be kind of confusing. I'm going to have to watch a body video on it anyway. Features are harness the plague, seize the disease from gruesome bosses and wield them as weapons. Give them a taste of their own medicine. This is the only way to survive this desolate kingdom. So I like the idea of that. I like being able to get boss souls, as it were, whatever they're going to call this, the boss disease, and use that as a more powerful weapon. As I continue to find my way through the world, I get more and more powerful depending on which boss I've beaten and how I can use the disease to my own advantage. Hopefully there's some options that are good for my playstyle. I kind of like a brute force, heavy defense, heavy hitting melee build, but we'll see. Embrace the Raven. Shift your Raven form during battle. Throw your feathers like daggers and execute enemies with swiftness of a raptor. So that's kind of like what is in this trailer, where you see him throwing like a green, I thought it was a spear, but I guess those possibly are your raven feathers. I'm not sure. Fight your way, upgrade and modify your basic movements and plague weapons. Build your very own playstyle and prepare for the challenges in your way. So I like the build your very own playstyle. I like those words. I don't like make sure you fight hard because this is the way that you have to do it based on what we want you to do. I like building it and making my own playstyle, similar to other games like Borderlands and things like that, where you've got a bunch of different tiers and trees. I'm hoping that there's different tiers, so you can be like, oh, I want to be a plague doctor. Or it's like, oh, well, you're building into healing and maybe regen health, or oh, I want to be a strength character, or I want to be a magic wielder, a disease wielder, or whatever. I'm really curious on what that means, and since it's an RPG, I'm sure it's going to have a bunch of different skills or talents or whatever they're going to call them, and I'm curious to kind of get a little bit more info on what that is. Hopefully they put out some videos on that. And lastly, here under features, Shattered Memories. Recover your memories through adventures. With different choices you've made and items you've collected, you'll get different endings. Stitch together your own truth. So interesting that there's going to be different endings to the game. That gives some replayability. So if you're one to play a game over and over and try to get different endings based on things you found, it's possible that maybe with your memories, you play through a memory section and you get different choices that you can make during the memory section. So you can say, well, I'm going to choose this option, and then that affects the story. Curious there. I'm curious to see what those memories are, what the shattered memories mean, if that's like a whole different kind of instanced in part of the game, or if that's just something you remember or a conversation you have. Well, curious to see, but I like the look of the main character Corvo, or not Corvo, main character Corvus. I really like the look of his design. It's kind of a very reminiscent of Plague Doctor with that bird mask on, but also similar to Bloodborne with the style of the leather and the wrappings around this character's armor. So all of this looks pretty great. The environments in these screenshots that they have up on Steam are all really interesting to me. There's a lot of plague and blood going on everywhere, which I'm kind of into that aesthetic in games, and the music itself within the trailer too, which I'll link down in the comments below. If you want to look in the description, if you want to look in the description, go watch this trailer and wishlist this on Steam. The music sounds pretty great, and you can hear the clashing of weapons in these battles as well, so you can see some of the sound design, which I don't know, everything looks really good. I'm surprised I hadn't heard anything about this. It's possible that it just was released. They just had some new information this past week, so it's possible that no one knew about this and it's just out. But I've got it on my wish list now, and as I hear more things about this game, I will put up new videos. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.